I'm sure we've all been paying attention up to the news to see that Florida is sending 1,000 National Guard to the border. And this is as of February 1st, which is today. So let's see what's going on. Kind of as figured. The goal is to help Texas fortify this border, help them strengthen the barricades, add barriers, add wire. It doesn't say they're going to do anything else. It doesn't say they're not going to do anything else. But blah, 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 because the military or the National Guard is not supposed to be able to lay their hands on civilians or people coming across. Well, they're civilians anyway. Illegals, but let's pause here. And I haven't had to look up this crap since this was going on underneath Trump. What does the Posse Comitatus Act say? Consists of one sentence: whoever, except in cases and under circumstances expressly authorized by the Constitution or Act of Congress, willfully uses any part of the Army or the Air Force, Air Force, as a Posse Comitatus or otherwise to execute the laws shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 2 years or both. Okay, so why not underneath Trump? Why didn't he send in the Navy or the Marines or Special Forces, blah, blah, blah. And why didn't he send down soldiers that could actually do something? But let's pause here. Oh, and by the way, I'm not ragging on Trump here. I'm not supporting Biden. I'm just showing facts here in the games these people play as they get everybody all riled up and excited. Pause here. Are all military members covered by the Posse Comitatus? Oops, I just went through that. No, not only federal only federal military, blah, blah, blah. For a different statute extends the same rule to Navy and Marine. I don't know about it. I guess I should have looked that up. Anyway, the Coast Guard, though part of the federal force, has expressed statutory Department of Law Enforcement and is not bound by the Posse Comitatus Act. So why didn't they throw in the Coast Guard at the border back then and now? But let's pause here and move on. Members of the National Guard are rarely covered because they usually report to their state or territory's governor. That means they are free to participate in law enforcement if doing so is consistent with state law. Nothing about federal law. However, when Guard personnel are called into federal service or federalized, they become the federal armed forces, so they can't. And the Texas Armed Guard has not been federalized. But let's pause here. Title 10, blah, blah, grants the Secretary of Defense the authority to control troops during certain situations like rebellion or invasion. This is interesting because blah, blah, blah. However, units and members of the Army National Guard of the United States or the Air National Guard of the United States may not be ordered to active duty under this subsection without consent of the governor. And it is unlikely Governor Abbott would consent to Biden take control over his state's armed forces. The other side is that Governor Abbott thinks he should be in control of the state's border because the Texas National Guard operates under Title 32, which says the governor gets to act as commander-in-chief of the state's armed forces. Okay, so a post on X from retired General Robert Solon states the town can always supersede the Title 32 in certain emergencies. So do it. I didn't even look up Title 32 in certain emergencies. Fuck it, let's do it. Pause here. But anyway, why not deputize him? He could be down there deputizing thousands of civilians. Trump back then, they could he couldn't have done it, but the Texas governor under Trump could have deputized troops, the National Guard. Governor Abbott here could be doing it, and why aren't they? Because it's these games these people play. Let me pause here. I'm sure lots of the people down there in Texas, especially, got to be serious about keeping them people out. Well, they quit fucking around and quit acting like you're thwarting the Biden, the agenda administration if you're not actually going to do it. But let's pause here. Okay, so I vaguely remember this from the Trump thing. Title 32 just means that your state's governor has been authorized or directed by the president to mobilize or activate the Guard. You perform an active duty under state control, so that's the only difference. But with pay and benefits, blah blah blah. If it goes over 30 days and you get the same federal benefits, okay, yeah, I remember that shit. But that's all that means. So if they really want to quit dicking around down there and thwart the system, then Abbott will just go ahead and deputize people and quit screwing around and close the border. That's the way I see it. If I'm wrong, tell me.